Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Impact Review for the 15th of April 2021. Impact is headed towards their next pay per view, which I guess is Rebellion in about a week. Um, Obviously, Impact has been hurt by the fact that AEW is getting better. For those unfamiliar, AEW has uh, switched to being alone on Wednesdays, which indirectly led to NXT switching to Tuesdays, which also indirectly led to Impact switching to Thursdays. So, after wrestling playing musical chairs, we have a basic new lineup here. Anyway, this particular program, Havoc defeats Nevaeh on BTI in a before the show deal. Nevaeh has left the promotion. This was announced yesterday. Opening video recaps Hardcore Justice. Jazz puts her on the line for a shot at Purrazzo, loses. And also the main event. Team Rich Swann, Willie Mack, and Eddie Edwards defeat Omega and the Good Brothers. Then we move to Josh Alexander and TJP. Alexander defeats TJP, and they've been facing each other for a while, revolving around the X Division Championship. They've done three ways and I think one or two one-on-one matches. Uh, Technical competition here. Both men are pretty good with submissions, and they go into mat wrestling. Alexander has obviously a power advantage against the speed of TJP, and um, there's they basically know each other well, so it goes basically to a move versus move match for lack of a better term. Good back and forth action. Both guys pretty 50-50 all the way around. Chain wrestling. Neither gains full control. Alexander relies on his power advantage. A slam of TJP and gaining a little bit of momentum. Cuts off Alexander with a few strikes, and then they head uh, to the end of things. Alexander keeps clamping on the ankle lock. TJP goes after an arm bar. They trade a bunch of reversals. Alexander coming out just a step or two ahead, and they go after their finishers. Alexander hits a double underhook pile driver for the win. Really good opener if you like these two. Honestly, I think both guys need a little more character development, but they're obviously going with Alexander to eventually be something big in the promotion, and this match leads to that. Um, Josh Alexander gains momentum, heads into Rebellion, where he'll face Ace Austin and TJP in a three-way. Too many three-ways, but we talk about that almost on a regular basis on this program. D'Lo Brown and Matt Striker run down the card for this week, and also Wrestle Week, which I guess is the continuation of things. Vignette with Taylor Wilde's return. Uh, they're doing some sort of rock punk music thing with her. Not necessarily a fan of that, but whatever. Carl Anderson with Dark Gallows defeat Crazy Steve with Decay. Decay made fun of Good Brothers. Anderson's in control early. A couple of spots. Steve gets a little bit of hope and does his unorthodox style, catches Anderson off guard. Anderson regains momentum because of his power and locking on a crossface and an upside down deal. Gallows distracts him and allows Anderson to get hit with a spinebuster for the win. 1 week left before Rebellion. We get a tag match between these two teams, or Decay chase the titles if the Good Brothers win. I'm assuming Good Brothers win in the end. Swingers Palace. Ace Austin asked what the betting odds were walking into his match. They tell him that the odds are not good. TJP walked up and told that his odds were highest, and Alexander walks in with Petey Williams, who cuts uh, the old Scott Steiner math promo, which might have been funny at the time, but is a dated reference at this point. Alexander, TJP, and Austin, now obviously the numbers not matching up, as the comedy of the gag. Eddie Edwards and Willie Mack come out to the ring for promo. Edwards talks about losing at Hardcore Justice against Violent by Design and how losses happen. He talks about Violent by Design attacking Dreamer pre the match and how Mack wants to challenge them to a fight. Violent by Design come out, and Young tells them that they are going after Dreamer, taken out backstage, but it wasn't them, and eventually they did it. Edwards didn't even care and still wants to fight. James Storm and Chris Sabin run down to even the odds, and all men start brawling around the ring. Violent by Design walk away. Babyfaces clear the ring. Storm challenges them to a 4-on-4 at the Rebellion pay-per-view. What a stale concept. Anyway, backstage, Purrazzo checks on Susan. D'Amore meets them and tells Purrazzo that she couldn't go and ruin Jazz's retirement speech. I don't know that this is the right way to do a retirement deal, but it is what it is. Tenille debuts her new show, All About Me, and opportunity for people asking questions about her. Milla is the host and Dashwood is the guest on every show. This is just completely lame. Dashwood answers the question. She's sure she'd win at Rebellion and become a pioneer of the women's division. And once again, Dashwood doesn't allow Miller to ask any follow-up questions. Jazz and Jordana Grace come down to the ring. Jazz's retirement speech is here. She said she came to Impact hoping maybe she could get one last title run, but she lost at Hardcore Justice. She felt fire, and same fire from 15 years ago, but in the end it didn't happen. Deonna Purrazzo was too strong, and she's the present and future of women's wrestling. Jazz talks about how Grace fails to capture the titles. Thanks, Grace, for bringing her in and considering her for a tag team partner. And then, before Jazz could continue, Fire and Flavor come out and make fun of her, tell her to get it together and retire. Grace fires up, tells them that this is Jazz's moment, and tell them to either shut up or get in the ring. Referee walks out, and they kill the stipulation completely, giving another match here. This is a non-title match. Jordana Grace and Jazz defeat Knockouts Tag Team Champions Fire and Flav. Hogan and Steels are unhappy with this. And obviously they brawl with them outside the ring. Jazz pins Kiera Hogan. Post-match, Jazz says she's done and announced her retirement. She thanks the fans and has a good speech. Roster comes out and sends her off. Gail Kim is there for this. Anyway, so backstage, Hogan and Steels complained to D'Amore about being put in the match. D'Amore booked a title match. Jazz walks up and says she's a woman of her word and that she was done. She respected Purrazzo and the stipulation. She says instead Grace could be there with a mystery partner. Jazz knew exactly who should be the partner. And we move to Brian Myers versus Jake Something in a Pick Your Poison match. Myers and Cardona are set to wrestle at Rebellion tonight. Both men are picking each other and their opponents in a Pick Your Poison stipulation. Cardona picks Jake Something for Myers. and something had defeated him at the Hardcore Justice pay-per-view. Match is super short. Something dominates the majority of the match and uses his power advantage, forcing Myers, who ends up running away and is able to catch something with the roster cut for the win. What a terrible name for a finish. Post-match, Myers announces Cardona's opponent, Sami Callihan, and Callihan appears. Callihan defeats Cardona in their match. Callihan attacks Cardona outside the ring, and they brawl for a while on the outside before they actually get in the ring. Cardona catches him with a radio silence for a near fall. More back and forth and more time to build the match. They wrestle in the ring for several minutes and once again find themselves brawling outside of the ring. Callihan gets some control. Back in the ring, Cardona makes a comeback, hitting a running boot in the corner for a near fall, and they trade a couple more near falls at the end. Cardona hits Frankensteiner and goes for the radio silence. Callihan pulls the referee in front of him, uses the distraction to hit the package piledriver and pick up the win. Fine match, but nothing really worth writing home about. And then post-match, Callihan calls out Trey Miguel, congratulates Miguel on main eventing Hardcore Justice. Miguel says the match was not about listening to Callihan because it's the right thing to do. He has issues with Triple XL, and Callihan said that the rage in Miguel, and he wants to help him with it and help him capitalize on the rage. And Callihan once again offers Miguel to join him. Miguel rejects this. Callihan says that he takes out Dreamer at Hardcore Justice to allow Miguel to be in the main event, but instead he's thanking Callihan. Miguel tries to attack him, only to take him out, and then there's a low blow and a lariat. Callihan calls Miguel, and then attacks him with a chair, and hits an exploder on the chair. We move to Juice Robinson and David Finlay cutting a promo from Japan, saying they've enjoyed seeing the Good Brothers suffer since losing the championship. They said whatever the Good Brothers have achieved, they've also achieved it too. Rebellion, they'll prove that they're the best tag team. Brown and Striker run down Wrestle Week calendar. They announced that next week we will get Good Brothers in Decay, Dashwood and Susan, and Eric Young and Eddie Edwards. They also run down the card for Rebellion, Callihan, Trey Miguel, and Violent by Design against Edwards, Mac, Storm, and Sabin. And Rich Swann and Kenny Omega press conference. Dean Moore and Rich Swann are out, and they represent Impact. Tony Khan and Jerry Lynn for AEW. Omega's not there. They had questions from a couple of reporters, and Khan addresses that whoever wins, be it Omega or Swann, they agree to commitments of both companies, so there's no doubt there will be that one championship will be gone from either promotion. Khan and D'Amour promote that there will be a winner, and both companies will have referees there. After a while, Kenny Omega and Don Callis finally do arrive. Omega's given the chance to have a speech, and he says that before he's got an eye on the big match with everyone eyes on him, he compares his attire to Swann's, an example of how Omega is just on another level, and he tells Swann he didn't belong on the stage. He then says this is a means to an end, and that Omega's making history. He slaps Swann, and there's a pull-apart brawl to end the show. Not terribly a fan of the way this was done. I like the idea of a double champion and trading the belt across the two AEW Impact promotions, but overall, I think this could have been done next week, and also, overall, it's an overstated deal. In any event, I'll be back with more right after this.